You're watching the East by Southeast Spoken Word Showcase on Channel Austin. I'm here with Mariann Wizard. Hi, Mariann.
Hi, Selah. It's so nice to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you as well. We're going to do a special set, right? This is going to be a memorial.
That's correct.
Can you tell me a little bit more about her name is?
I'm going to do a memorial set this year in honor of my friend, Austin's prison poet, Mariann Buck, who passed away in August after serving 29 years in federal prisons and after 19 days of freedom. She was a good friend of mine. She was a fabulous poet. Her spirit is alive and well in the world today, where she mentored hundreds of poets all around the world. And we had always hoped that one day, if she was released, that she would be able to come to Austin, her hometown, and possibly be on an East by Southeast program. And since that's not going to happen, I'm going to do my set this year in her honor.
Yeah. Now, Mariann is actually not innocent. She's actually guilty. And the things that she's guilty of is helping, like, Tupac Shakur's aunt. Is that right?
Yes, yes. Mariann Buck was a revolutionary activist. She was a member of the Black Liberation Army. She was a white woman who who got rid of her white skin privilege and joined her life with the lives of oppressed people and joined her fortune with them. She obtained guns and ammunition for members of the Black Liberation movement in California in the 1960s and 70s, when black men could not go and buy weapons to defend themselves, but she, as a white woman, could do so.
And they kept her that long?
Well, yes, she escaped from prison the first time.
And she helped also...
And then she was underground for 7 years, and she was involved in a number of other revolutionary acts, some of which didn't turn out as hoped, and which, in the years that she then spent in prison afterwards, she had to, address some of those issues herself on a very personal level. But she did. Assata Shakur is alive and living in peace and freedom in Cuba today because of Mariann's courage.
Wow. And so she got to be free for 19 days.
19 days, yes. She was diagnosed with a horrible, incurable cancer after she was given her release date. Then she was diagnosed with this cancer, and she was treated, but she didn't respond to the treatment. It was a very intransigent cancer, and they did release her so that she was able to die without being chained to a hospital bed.
Wow.
And surrounded by loved ones. So.
Yeah. It's such a sad story to, hear about people who go to jail and, they basically give their lives for a cause. But I really feel like there's no nobler way to live. Nobody wants to spend their life in jail.
Mariann's real story is what she did while she was in prison, Selah. She was a mentor. She was a teacher. She organized anti-AIDS activities and AIDS education while in prison. She worked with women that the women that were imprisoned with her all just adored her. She saved a lot of them. She showed them how to live, how to conduct themselves. Like I said, she mentored. She was a wonderful correspondent. She mentored poets. She wrote for journals, and she didn't allow the walls of prison to contain her spirit. And
well, I just want to start crying.
Well,
I really do, because women like that fascinate me. They don't let their circumstances.
You're gonna like this show.
I love her. And Austin, I think you're gonna like it too. So let's give Mariann Wizard an opportunity to share with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mariann Wizard, and I'm so happy to be back here at East by Southeast and at Austin's wonderful public access studio. I'm going to do a performance this year in honor of my friend Mariann Buck, who passed away last August. And I want to begin by reading 2 poems that were written about Mariann by other people. This first one is by a woman named Alexis Pauline Gums, and it's called Catch. Preacher's daughter, what is a wall? What blooms beyond the body? What is left? You could write a letter into dandelion wish, thread hope into green garlands. To wear catechism loose, form everyday practice, life lost, nurturing, life eternal. What is a wall? Patient gardener of the word yes, unwilling to wait for the language we could say it in. What is a fist? What blooms in explosion, in excelsis, in the decision to risk everything and never take it back? Poisoned decades flowing furiously into cancer, Answer me this, Mariann, you who can never again be interrogated, isolated, chained. Where do they grow, white girls like you, awake and ready to catch hell with both hands open? What is a wall? What blooms? What is left? This second poem is written by a woman named Jewel Gomez. Mariann wrote one of her best-known poems is called Wild Poppies, and that is also the title of a CD of her poetry. And so this poem by Jewel Gomez is called Red Poppy for Mariann. On Veterans Day, neighbors wore them, pristine, plastic, blood-bright flowers to honor the fallen, mostly men, except, of course, the women and children, collateral to the chaos that puffed the chests of men. You and I are of an age to remember those flowers and how their presence made backs straighten, drew strangers together, warming their hands over stories of honorable death. Never wilting, faithless blaze of color seduced them, made death and honor one, when in truth, whether in a field or a cage, the poppy is a sign of life, delicate, vulnerable, capable of bringing a smile to your face and reminding us of peaceful things. Where have all the flowers gone? We puzzle at our own destructive impulse, turning flora into instruments of isolation when all they ask is that we honor them, honor life wild. I want to read two of Mariann's poems. The first of them appeared after her death in Monthly Review, and then appeared in translation in the Puerto Rican journal Claridad. And I'm going to read it first in English and then in Spanish. Mariann worked as a translator while in prison. She translated poems, and she also translated on a day-to-day basis for many of the women who she was incarcerated with who were not English speakers. So this poem is called in English, Undocumented. Benny is back. Her sister begged her to come home to Long Beach to help. Her mother was so sick. I can't. I mustn't cross over. I'm stuck here in TJ. I'm afraid to go back to prison. Por favor, hermana, come. Por favor, hermana, don't ask me. Nothing will happen. Mommy needs you. She's so sick and needs you to talk for her. To the doctor. You speak English so good. No lo puedo. Si puedes. I'm coming to get you. You'll see. It's going to be okay. No, I'll come alone, on foot, with the daily workers. Benny is back. 3 years now. Her mother died, never saw her again. Benny leaves soon. ICE will send her back to Tijuana. And in Spanish, as translated by the journal Claridad de Puerto Rico, Mariann had a very special relationship and love for Puerto Rico. She was incarcerated the first time that she was in prison. She was incarcerated with Lolita Lebron, the great Puerto Rican independencista, and other Puerto Rican activist women who mentored her and taught her how to survive the lengthy imprisonment that she would eventually face. Indocumentada. Benny regresó. Su hermana le suplicó que viniera a la casa de Long Beach a ayudarla. Mamá está tan enferma. No puedo. No debo cruzar hacia allí. Mejor me quedo aquí en TJ. Tengo miedo de volver a prisión. Por favor, hermana, ven. Por favor, hermana, no me lo pidas. Nada te va a pasar. Mamá te necesita. Está tan enferma y necesita que hablas por ella con el doctor. Hablas también el inglés. No puedo. Si puedes, iré a buscarte. Verás que todo saldrá bien. No, iré sola. A pie con los trabajadores diurnos. Benny regresó. Hace 3 años ya. Mamá murió y nunca la volvió a ver. Benny se va pronto. Inmigración la envía de vuelta a Tijuana. This poem by Marilyn Buck was published in 1998 in the journal Sojourner, and it illustrates not only her lifelong commitment to the cause of Black liberation, but to me it also illuminates the essence of her perseverance and her character and the manner in which she was able to transcend the incarceration to which she was subjected. This is called To the Woman Standing Behind Me in Line Who Asks Me How Long This Black History Month Is Going to Last. The whole month, even if it is the shortest month, a good time in this prison life. You stare at me and ask me why I think February is so damn fine. I take a breath. Prisoners fight for February. African voices cross razor wire, cut through the flim-flam of American history, call its cruelties out, confirm the genius of survival, creation, and plain old enduring, a celebration. The woman drops her gaze, looks away, and wishes she had not asked, confused that white skin did not guarantee a conversation she wanted to have. She hasn't spoken to me since. I think I'll try to stand in line with her again. Besides Marilyn, the international community of poets took some other hits this last year. Austin's own Susan Bryant, the avenging angel of Barton Springs. My friend and neighbor Diane Workman, whose spiritual poetry was known to only a lucky few. The journalist poet of Mexico City and San Francisco, John Ross. And in honor of all of them, I would like to read a poem of mine called For Poets Who Die in Midlife. From Byron and Shelley, who set the bar, to Sylvia Plath, who took it too far, poets who die young are such a cliche. I knew you would never go out that way. At the other end, the two ancient pens of graybeards and crones not yet under stones keep up a trite chatter that can't seem to quit. The senile must drool what they no longer spit. But you, clever boots, have stepped out just in time. Mid-sentence, mid-life, even mid-rhyme. Not for you the slow decay, the ebbing tide, the dying ember. Your full strength and glory is what we will remember. They are kindly who pass on before all their peers, these poets who die in their middle years, making room for the young, the fresh, and the new. But if you want to hear what I plan to do, they're going to have to pry this mic from my cold blue fingers. It's not always the best or the brightest who lingers. To honor the poets who've gone on ahead, I can only keep rhyming and keep up my cred. And I will end with one more. If Marilyn was still alive, she would be so excited about what's going on in the Middle East today. She was an enormous student of Middle Eastern history, politics, culture, special interest in the status of Middle Eastern women, their literature, and she would have been, as so many of us are, just fascinated with the freedom struggles that are unfolding now in that part of the world. So I would have loved to have been able to share this poem with her, and I share it with you. It's called Egypt Land. Freedom breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Before Greece, you were the home of scholars. Before Rome, you were an empire. Before last week, you were slaves. The birth of your society is shrouded in time's burqa. The birth of your revolution now reveals the best-kept secret of the Sphinx. It's all about the people. History is read from monuments of rulers and kings. Their grandiose self-glorifications dot every desert. But this hasn't been the first time, has it, that Egypt's laborers have laid down their work, their very lives, and stood up for change. Go down, Moses. Go down to Egypt land. Go tell, O Pharaoh, let my people, let my people, let my people go. The people of Tahrir Square are telling Pharaoh to go with all his autocrats and aristocrats and leave Egypt to them, poor men and women. Oh, the Sphinx is talking now. The pyramid scheme is crumbling. The lack of princely substance is seen by all. The dance of the 7 veils has been danced, and the 7 veils cast aside, and stale promises with it. Ripples spread in sand as in water. Dunes shift slowly, then all at once. Thank you very much.